fish on the humdinger. Nice. Little ripple sure makes a big difference. Yes, sir. That breeze came up, and we were trolling for maybe 2 minutes after a little shore break. And that fish is fighting hard. Woo! In the net. Nice. Silver and blue humdinger, baby. It's going about 2.7 miles an hour when that fish hit. Boom. Gotta like that. Awesome. Oh, there we go. Fish on. Whoop. Right there. Nice. On the blue and silver humdinger. Blue and silver humdinger's working big time today. That fish was about 12 feet down, and I was going about 2.9 miles an hour when he hit. We'll get him back in the water. Basic pattern. It's chrome, blue side, chrome side, and of course it's a humdinger. It's got that prominent eye on it, which I think is a really important part of a lure. So anyhow, let's get it back in the water. I believe that's 4 hookups in 15 minutes. Oh, fish on. Almost got this one out. Fast and furious action here on the humdingers. We barely keep 2 lines in the water right now. This is what you call a wide open humdinger bite. You know, people tell me, well, I've got some humdingers and I don't catch anything on them. And I'll tell you what, I know they're trolling them too slow. This is a lure that's got to be trolled 2.5 miles an hour or more, preferably up around 3. And hey, you can see the results. I'm catching fish, hooking fish as quick as I can get the lines in the water, pretty much. Now, it's not always like this, but these fish are active. There's a little ripple on the top, and they're feeling feisty. The temperature's right, they're feeding, a lot of oxygen in the water, and they want to get it on. They want a lure that's moving fast. Woo, there we go. There it is, fat little rainbow, chrome and blue. I was going about 2.7 when that one hit. Get him back in the lake. Awesome. There we go. Oh, fish on the other rod. Man, what a bite. What an incredible bite we're into. That one was at 8 feet, and that was right at 2 miles an hour. It was just starting to speed back up. I was starting to put that other lure back into water, and wham! there. Humdinger. Woohoo! Gotta like that. Well, if you had any doubts about the effectiveness of the Humdinger spoon, that opening segment should have answered them all. It is one of my very favorite lures to put on when the trout are aggressively feeding because it's a lure that I control quickly. When the trout are aggressive, you want to match that aggression with aggression of your own. You want to get a lure in their face and you want to trigger those strikes. When I was up at Sugar Pine catching all those rainbows, I was using the 1/8 ounce chrome and blue version. I had this on both of my rods and I literally could not keep the rods in the water. That's how quick the bites were coming. The 1/2 ounce version, well, it's a great lure for triggering strikes from big fish at big lakes like Folsom, Pyramid, Shasta, stuff like that. Sometimes I'll team the little guy with a sling blade dodger. If I'm at a big impoundment like Shasta, I'll run this about 30 inches behind a 6-inch sling blade. I'll keep my speed at the 2.5 to 3 mile an hour range. I catch a lot of fish doing that. At smaller lakes, I tend to run the 1/8 ounce version naked, by itself, no blades, no flashers, no nothing. And I always run the 1/2 ounce version by itself. I'm trolling this spoon at 3 to 4 miles an hour, too fast for most dodgers. And it doesn't need a dodger. This lure puts out a lot of vibration and a lot of flash by itself, and it's just very effective. When guys say that they're not catching fish on humdingers, it's almost always a speed issue. The lures need to be run quickly. The little guy, 2.5 to 3. The big guy, 3 to 4 miles an hour. Those are the correct speeds. You don't want to tie a tight knot directly to the lure. There's just a hole here. There's not a split ring or anything. If you tie directly to that eye and scrunch down the knot real tight, you're going to kill the action of the spoon, and that's not what you want to do. I like to run it on a 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and I use a lock snap. That gives the lure absolute freedom of motion, and it just works very well. I can change colors quickly that way, and I know the lure is going to have the proper action as long as I'm trolling quickly enough. Let's talk a little bit about colors. My all-time favorite color is the chrome and blue. I love the big eye on the humdinger, and chrome and blue is a great lure when the fish are feeding on bait. They expect to see that flash. Chrome and blue, it just works for me. I've got a lot of confidence in it, and confidence means everything. My wife loves to run very similar to the one I like, but she has a ton of confidence in the Captain America color. It's got a little bit of red on it, some white, some blue. Great bait fish imitation, and she feels like when she's got this on her line, she's going to catch something. And I've seen her catch some really nice rainbows on this spoon. In my opinion, other colors you should absolutely have a few of the 1/2 ounce black and silver tape versions. This is a killer spoon for early morning aggressive trolling around structure. Catch a lot of big fish on this at Don Pedro, at Shasta, places like that. First hour of the day, black model works real well. If you're going up in the high Sierras, I really like 2 colors. Of course, I like the gold tape orange version, orange lures. You know me and orange lures in the high Sierra, they just work for me. And same color as I would choose in a cripple lure, the red tape brass back. It's killer. Caught a lot of fish at these at places like French Meadows Reservoir, up at Sugar Pine Reservoir, places like that, up a little bit higher in elevation where the fish respond to those reds and orange colors. If you find yourself out in some stained water situations, they do make some bright colors like this Fire Tiger, this all chartreuse model. So got the whole color spectrum covered with the humdinger lineup, but you know, I tend to go with the bait fish stuff at lower elevations. Finally, if you're a shore guy, the 1/8 ounce version, you can cast this effectively, but you're not going to cast it real far. The 1/2 ouncer is a much better choice. You could throw this thing long distances, you can count it down, mix up your retrieve. It's a very effective shore casting lure. It'll also work in big rivers like the Middle American, the Truckee, and stuff like that. Humdingers, they're a lure you need to have. Put in a little bit of time fishing them, fish them fast, be aggressive, and you're going to like the rewards. You're going to catch a lot of trout on these, and you're going to catch a lot of big trout on these. There's nothing that triggers, reaction strikes, aggression strikes, as well as a humdinger spoon.